Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this wisdom and inspiration with friends and family. If you look in Book of Numbers, chapter 16, this is a very sad saga, the story of Korach. Now, who was this Korach? And why is it important to know who he was? Well, first, let's look in the verse. The verse tells us, now Korach, who was the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, who was the son of Levi, he took, meaning he created a dissent, an argument, a fight, what we call a machloket, a division against Moses. And sadly, at the end of the story, he and his cohorts get swallowed into the ground alive. Not only they, but all the children, which shows us, is an indicator of how severe this is. That typically God does not punish the young. God does not punish without judgment. And here they were all punished. And they all were literally annihilated, disappeared, gone, because of the severity of what they did. Now, what did he do? What was his problem? You see, it gives us his pedigree here. He was the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, so he's a grandson of Levi. He is, great-grandson of Levi, the son of Jacob. He is a grandson of Kahat. He is a cousin of Moshe. He is a cousin of Moses. And he was somewhat jealous. Look what jealousy can do. You see, his envy was that he, being the son of Yitzhar, meaning the grandson of Kahat, the son of Yitzhar, the son of Kahat, he should be next in line after Moshe and Aaron, after Moses and Aaron. Moses became the leader. Aaron is the high priest. And he felt like if there's any other great position to be filled, it should be he. But instead, a much younger cousin of his was chosen for the task of being in charge of the Levites. And this created the great envy within him. Of course, his great mistake is Moses did not appoint himself, nor did he appoint his brother Aaron, nor did he appoint his younger cousin without being told directly to do so by God himself. But jealousy does what jealousy does. Now let's take a moment to appreciate who this Korach was. So I want you to know that historically, Korach was one of the richest men to ever live. Korach was certainly the richest Jew to ever live, but perhaps even the richest one individual in the entire history of the world. You see, the Midrash tells us that when Joseph, you remember back then, Joseph was the king of Egypt, and he amassed all the wealth from the entire civilization at the time. Remember, they brought everything they had, everything they owned, just to get some food. It says he divided that wealth into three. One he kept for the coffers of Egypt. That's why Egypt was a very wealthy nation. Another third he hid away for the end of times when Mashiach comes. And another third he hid away elsewhere. That 1/3 of the world's wealth at the time, Korach managed to find and he uncovered. Imagine what kind of wealth he had. So as far as material goes, he was all the way on top. Now let's go to the spiritual end. Korach even enjoyed prophecy. That's how great he was. That's how holy he was. In fact, Korach was one of the 4 select individuals who were tasked with carrying the Ark of the Covenant. But it wasn't just carrying the Ark of the Covenant. In fact, every time they did so, they experienced tremendous miracle. Because we know, as it says in the Talmud, that the Ark would, quote, carried its carriers. The Ark was very, very heavy, But B, it wasn't meant to be carried by men. The ark, so to speak, God can handle itself, can handle himself. The fact is that as the moment they touched the rods, symbolically lifting it up, immediately they were lifted up in the air and they levitated throughout until their next station, until their next stop. So imagine what kind of great miracles he experienced. So both on the material end and on the spiritual end, he was way, way up there. And yet he still had a little jealousy. And look what it festered in, and look where it got him. He lost everything, the material and the spiritual, gone. And this is a lesson for us, how sometimes we don't, at least we don't do it enough to appreciate what we do have, what we have accomplished, the special privileges that God has given us. And instead we look elsewhere, and then we become very envious and jealous. And why not me? And why don't I have that? And this should serve as a lesson for us, how even somebody who was so great, yet look, he fell from grace. He fell terribly. He fell the worst fall only because of jealousy.